Hello everybody. This is Rebecca. We call her Bex. And Bex, what do you do here at Ashdown Jones?
So I design all the marketing, visual branding material and the brochures and the logos.
She's our chief designer. In fact, we are employing an apprentice for her because we're so busy. So you're going to have a little minion running around, aren't you? She's very excited. She's going to have somebody to train, somebody to do her bidding. But, do you know, funny, we were just saying this the other day, Bex was employee number one, weren't you?
Yeah.
Because it used to be just Phil and I, and then it was about 4 months, I think, into our Ashdown Jones journey that we persuaded Bex to join us. And yeah, the rest is history.
And it's all changed massively.
I know. And we were just saying yesterday how, you know, our original brochures have changed over the time and how you've got really creative and you've tried lots of different things, lots of experimentation.
Yeah.
That's what makes you happy, isn't it?
Yeah, like trying new things and pushing it forward.
Yes, yeah. Because, you know, for the last 16 years I've been collecting property marketing all over the country and sometimes further afield to try and see what everybody else is doing and how we can be better and different. And we've even gone to different companies, haven't we? So we've looked at the bed industry and some other luxury industries where we can borrow and steal marketing
Not all
ideas.
the agencies, like estate agencies, do brochures, so you can't look at all the ones to do that. But you have to look at other companies.
They do leaflets and details and particulars, but what's the difference between a brochure and details?
That's more in like information, isn't it? And like straight to the point, what you need to know. Whereas this is more like you're selling a lifestyle and like a magazine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's selling the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sorry, I forgot to put all the phones off. So what we want to show you today is, which we haven't done for ages, and we just remembered yesterday, Bex and I, that we haven't actually done a brochure reveal for ages. So we get new brochures, at the moment we're getting new brochures in so fast, so much, and then the house is selling before the brochure arrives.
Printed.
And like, oh, Bex just spent like, you know, days and days on it, and then it's actually just sold. So,
which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. It is a good thing. But it does mean that then we have a brochure with no owner.
No.
Although lots of people who buy our houses want to have some of our brochures as a keepsake, and the sellers also like them, don't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes the sellers pop in and say, "Oh, can we have all the brochures you've got left?" And then Bex is happy because then everybody's seeing her brochures, because they are much more than a sales tool. They're actually, you know, they're like a little series of mementos of the house, I think.
Yeah, they can take it with them as a memory, really, of where they used to live. And I suppose it's showing the best features of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's showcasing the house, and it's also their furniture, so it makes more sense for the sellers to have it than the buyers to have it, really. So we're going to show 3 different brochures. We've got White Score, Peter Hill House, and the West Wing, and they've all got very different kind of treatments, haven't they?
Yeah.
So we'll do that one last because that's a bit unusual, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll do Peter Hill House first. So this is a really unusual brochure format, isn't it? Talk to us about that.
I used like a longer landscape because the house is long.
Is it?
Yeah. So
it is.
Set like that.
There's a picture of the house.
Yeah. So and then it was good, so I could do like a double page to show the full width of it. And
I love this motif here. So you see this motif that Bex has created that's carried through the brochure.
Yeah, so speaking to the owners, they liked a lot of like the gardens and floral patterns, so that's why I did that really.
So when you're designing the brochure, you don't just look at the house, you talk to the owners, don't you?
Yeah, and what like their hobbies and their interests and what they think about their home.
And what difference does that make to the design of the brochure if you know what they like?
Because then I can, each page, it depends if it's like a modern house and they like very like clean lines and everything, that's what I'll create the brochure like. But this one was more traditional, country, and like you said, they spent a lot of time in the garden, so I wanted to put that throughout. And on the front page there's I actually focus on the garden as well. So that obviously pleases the owners, and what we're saying is that if this is what the owners love about their own house, if we get a buyer that loves the brochure and loves the house, they're going to like the same things, aren't they? They're going to be attracted to the same things. So
it's a visual branding, really, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
branding the house to suit the lifestyle that it then offers.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Now, it's not as easy to do that in a holiday home. Because obviously you've not got the personality in the holiday home. So you have reflected the personality of the owners, I think, here, but the owners don't live in it, so it's a bit harder, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that one I focus more on the actual building itself, because it's a unique shapes and everything. And the window, this was the window of just in the main.
I think it used to be some kind of priory or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you're local, you know where Cook's Corner is, and you come down Cook's Corner, just before the roundabout, on the right-hand side, there's what used to be priory. In fact, in my time, it used to be riding stables. But I think, it feels like it used to be a priory, and at the top of Rowing Road, before you get to Cook's Corner, there's also a priory, or was a priory on the left-hand side. Some of you remember it as a pub, because I do. And so that kind of ecclesiastical archway, you've reflected that in the brochure, which I think is lovely. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Yeah, really, really lovely. And it's a very calming house, isn't it? And so you reflected that. What is the floral motif you put on this?
That was I used the wallpaper in one of the bedrooms.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so I just created the pattern from where's the picture.
That is lovely. And you've done this before, haven't you, with Windwhite House, where you use the wallpaper?
So I don't know whether you can see the wallpaper in the blue one, but I just made the pattern like a silhouette and just put it as, just so it's just not a block colour background.
I wouldn't have even known it was floral actually, but it's just got a lovely texture to it, so it's not just a flat colour.
Yeah.
Really lovely. And then the West Wing itself is obviously a branding that you've created.
Yeah.
It's quite grand, isn't it? But then you've got the in sort of a more scroll text, and also it does say Windermere on it as well. I'm losing my voice today because I did a load of recording yesterday. And then Peter Hill House has that lovely floral motif as its visual branding. So that brings us on to the last one, which is, by the way, should we just tell people where these are and how much they are? You're going to have to remind me, Phil. West Wing, how much is it on the market for? 925. A successful holiday let. Beautiful house, absolutely stunning proportions and stunning features. Peter Hill House, which is in Young Colliers. 850. I haven't even been to this house. Gorgeous. And then White Score, which is really unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, so this one didn't have, I had to focus on the land on this one, and like the plot size and acreage, because obviously it's amazing the views and stuff you get from this one. So
this is a lovely house we've got over in, I'll just show a picture of where it is, very near Keswick, and it's on the market for 700. That's a steal. I think it's too cheap. But it does need quite a lot of cosmetic improvement, because the owner of the house built it, how long ago, Phil? It's about 30 years ago? Yeah. 30 to 35 years ago, to his own specification. And you know what owners are like, they go their own sweet way. So he obviously wasn't thinking about selling it when he built it, so he built it very much customised for his family. And obviously now things have changed for him, so he needs to move on, and it's sat in this beautiful garden, but the house itself needs upgrading.
Yeah, so we didn't have many pictures of the actual house, so I'd had to fill the brochure with, well, basically what someone wants to buy it for, which will be the views and the location.
Views and the location, exactly right, and maybe the potential. So we have been accused in the past of making houses look better than they really are, and that does sometimes happen, and it probably has happened a little bit here, because when I've talked to people on the phone and said, White Score does need a little bit of work, they've gone, oh, the photographs are lovely. And they are, but that's our job, we don't want to show photographs of all the bits that, you can let him in, my dog's scratched to me, all the photographs of all the areas that need upgrading, because then that's not going to do the house any good, is it? Hello, George. What do you think? You'd like to go there, wouldn't you? Lots of horses, yeah, surrounded by fields near Keswick. You'd like that, wouldn't you, George? But I think what Bex has done a really good job of is kind of showing it as a bit of a blank canvas, but showing
when you're describing one thing, so it's more of an effort to kind of reproduce the same thing. I like to you get the text and you match it to your pictures, so I always like to do it fresh.
But it does take a lot more time.
It does take a lot more time, but I think it reflects the house more personally, and you have to read through the text as well, the copy we get, so you kind of understand the house a lot more on the flow, rather than just, you don't want to talk about three rooms in one page, because people just get confused, so I like to just keep it to certain pages.
So you're kind of taking them through almost like a viewing,
Yeah.
aren't you, in the brochure?
Yeah, how like Maria and Edward would show you around.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's really important. I mean, I've been working with estate agents now for nearly 17 years, and I've never known an agency have a full-time designer. And when you first started, quickly that she needed to be in design, and that's where she is now. So sometimes owners want to speak to you, don't they, about their house, and others go, you get on with it, Bex, we trust you. And you like both those two things, don't you?
Definitely, yeah. It's nice to have, some people are really, really involved, but then it's quite nice because the end product is something that has been worked and worked and worked to, we're both really happy with it, and it sometimes I don't realise where I need to push myself, so that's nice sometimes to be challenged.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Especially to say, well, can you not do this? And you go, not sure.
Yeah.
I'll have a go. And then when you can't design it, you can draw and illustrate it, which is amazing. You're very talented. We're very lucky to have Bex. So if you want to have a chat about your house, if it's on the market and you have got a set of particulars and not a brochure, you want to have a chat about that, or if you, George's about to knock over our camera, or if you are not on the market but you'd like to know kind of how this fits in, because we don't charge for these, that's the other thing we should say. It's all wrapped up in our very reasonable fee. So if you want to have a chat about how that might work for you and how Bex and the team work with you to create something that's really beautiful, to really showcase your home, then we'd love to hear from you, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
You can phone Bex direct even. So you can phone the office here, 015 394, so the Windermere/Ambleside code, and then it's 88811, not to be confused with 88811, which is the beauticians in Bowness. So make sure it's 88811, and that gets through to us. And we won't be able to talk to you about nails, but we'll be able to talk to you about lovely brochures. So thank you very much for watching, and thanks, Bex, for your amazing input, as always. 3 years now she's been here, 3 years.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing. We should have got you a cake or something.
No, I don't need any more cake.
All right, see you soon.